Subscribe our Nehra Classes YouTube channel to watch free live training sessions and to avail the membership facilities and additional perks, click the join button.
Hi friends, welcome to Nehra Classes. This is Ashish. In this video, we'll learn how to push Docker images to Nexus Registry. So first of all, let us understand few terminology and then we'll do the demo. So what is a Docker registry? Docker registry is a remote location or a centralized location where you can store Docker images. So already we are aware of hub.docker.com. Similarly, we have registry.access.redhat.com, quay.io or cloud managed ECR on AWS. Similarly, we have Nexus, JFrog. So not only in Docker Hub, but we can store Docker images in multiple registries like hub.docker.com and the list goes on. So within a registry there is something called a repository. Repository is like a folder, think like as a folder. So inside a registry we have a repository which is a collection of Docker images of same type with different tags. So for suppose I have Nginx image. So for this Nginx image I have different versions, right? So I need to store all this in one folder. So that is like a repository. And I want to differentiate one image with other image. Suppose there is v1 version, then there is v2 version. So I'll give some tags so that I easily identify the image. Now let us go to hub.docker.com. So I already opened the page. Now let us open Nginx. So hub.docker.com is a registry. So this website is like a registry. So within this registry we have multiple images like Nginx image, HTTPD image and some other images. So for Nginx, now if I click on tags button, there are a lot of images with different tags. For suppose there is tag called Perl, then this tag called hotel. So this is like a repository where you have collection of images. See, this is like a list is very big. So this repository contains only images of Nginx, right? I don't have any image which is of HTTPD, but if I want to go for HTTPD, I can simply search for HTTPD and the HTTPD repository also opens. And in the HTTPD also we have different tags like latest, bookworm. So registry is like the website, you can think like a website, and within that website we have different repositories which contains image of that particular type. So Nginx and HTTPD. So now we are giving tags so that we can differentiate one image with other image. So let's get back to the notes. So there are two types of registries. One is public registry and the other one is private registry. What is a public registry? These registries are publicly available to everyone on the internet for pulling the images or pushing the images. So on these websites like hub.docker.com or this one registry.access.redhat.com, I can create my own account, I can sign up and I can store my images. I can use it for my personal use. Whereas private registries are like, they are private to network. So you will not know the URL until the registry admin gives to you. So you have a username and a password and a proper authentication happens. Only the employees of that company or the authenticated users can pull or push images. So they are not available on the internet. So Docker images are very secure data because it contains company's code and company's related data, right? So they don't want to push or pull the images into public domain like hub.docker.com. Even in the hub.docker.com you can create one private repository which is of free of cost, and if you want more than one then you need to pay license. So cloud providers also provides like ECR on AWS cloud, ACR on Azure cloud, and GCR on Google cloud. So ECR stands for Elastic Container Registry, ACR stands for Azure Container Registry, and GCR stands for Google Cloud Registry. Suppose my company's infrastructure is completely on AWS cloud, then I will choose ECR. Suppose my company is mostly using Azure, then I will choose ACR. So it depends upon the company to company which registry they are going with. Other than these registries, we also have something called third party registries, which are like Nexus, JFrog, and Harbor. In this video we'll see demo of Nexus, and in the next video we'll see the demo of JFrog. So our focus in this video is on Nexus. So to set up this demo we need two servers. One is Docker server where I'll be running Docker commands, and the other one is Nexus server where I will store my Docker images. So I'll be using AWS cloud and I will launch these two servers. You can use any cloud based on your comfort. If you are not aware of AWS, then you can follow our playlist which is freely available. So I have chosen Mumbai region. You can choose any region based on your comfort. So already I have couple of servers called Nexus and Docker server. These are terminated, but it is taking some time to remove from this list. So I'll give different name so that I can differentiate and there will be no confusion. So let us click on launch instance. I will give it as Docker new server. In your case you can give it as Docker server. So in the previous videos Sar has explained launching Docker on different operating systems like Ubuntu, Red Hat, and even we have seen it on the Mac OS. So for a change I am going with Amazon Linux in this demo. All you need is a Docker server, so you can choose any OS whichever you want, and you want to install Docker on top of it, then you can do that as well. So I can go with t2.micro. I'll select a key pair. So I'll create a new security group and click on edit button, and I'll give some name. So if you want to give some description, you can give the description. So I'll add one security rule. I will allow all traffic from anywhere. So Nexus runs on port 8081. So same security group I'll be using to launch my Nexus server. So I'll add this security group here itself. So I'll select all traffic, and source I'll keep it as 0.0.0.0/0, which means any IP address is allowed, and the range is all. So simply I will launch my instance. So let me filter it. Now let me launch one more instance. So this time I am going with Red Hat. I have prepared the documentation for Red Hat, so I would highly suggest you to go with Red Hat, and I will share the documentation with you guys. And this is a very important step, so don't choose t2.micro because it will not be sufficient. So I will go with t2.medium. It requires at least 4 GB RAM and 2 vCPUs. So make sure you use t2.medium, and once your demo is over, terminate the instance so that you will not incur any charges. So I'll select key pair, and already I created a security group, right? I will choose that. So Nexus demo is the security group which we created in the last step. So I'll create the instance. So let us refresh it. So let us quickly set up Docker on this machine. Let's connect. Let me copy this SSH command. Let me come out of full screen. So my PEM file is in downloads folder. So in whichever path your PEM file is there, navigate to that folder. Simply copy paste this. So my Mumbai key pair is in this downloads folder, and I will press enter now. So we are in this operating system. I will switch to root, and now I'll simply run yum install docker. So in Amazon Linux it's pretty straightforward, unlike in Ubuntu or Red Hat. So docker is getting installed. Let us see if the service is running. So systemctl status docker. So if you see this, it is inactive or dead. So let us start it. And let us enable it. So once we restart the server or stop and start, it should work. I mean, docker should be enabled. So now let us run the same command, status command, and see if it is running. So earlier it was inactive, now it is active and it is showing as running, right? So let me come out of this and clear the screen. Let us run few commands and see if our docker is properly working or not. It should be working, but let us see. So let us see if there are images. No, there are no images because this is a fresh server. Now let me pull one image. So Alpine image is a very small image. It gets downloaded very quickly. So if I run docker images once again, you can see the image, right? So my docker server is ready, and now I'll go and set up my Nexus server. So let me connect to this and copy paste this command. So docker I am running in this white terminal, and for Nexus I will using this black terminal, so that easily you can differentiate which server is in which terminal. So this one is black terminal for Nexus. So in downloads folder I will copy paste this, and now right now I am inside this server. Let me switch to root, and Nexus requires Java 11 version above as a prerequisite. So we need to install Java 11 first. So just a minute. I will provide you with the documentation, so just focus on the commands and why we are running that command. So with this command I am installing Java. So you know, right, you can use yum install or dnf install. This is a rel operating system, so yum is the package manager or dnf is the package manager. So let us try to download Java now. So it will take some time. Java is a heavy software and even Nexus is a heavy software, so at least you need, t2.medium instance. If you take t2.micro, then you will face issues and it will not work properly. It will be very slow. So there is this Java getting installed. So it is taking some time, so please have some patience and wait till Java gets installed. We'll go step by step, we'll not rush. Yeah, it is complete. Now let us see Java version. If your Java is successfully installed, then you will see this output, OpenJDK version 11. So I have installed OpenJDK, so it is giving me the right output. Now let me clear the screen. Now Nexus is a third party software, right? All the third party software, it is advisable to keep in /opt folder. So I will go to /opt folder and first I will install some packages which are required in our demo. Let us install with yum. So first I need tar, wget, vim and nettools. So why do we need these packages is because we will download a tar file using wget and we need to extract that tar file, so we need tar command and we need editor. Vim is much better than vi, so we'll run some network related commands. So we are installing net-tools. So I will install all these packages in one shot. So if you see, it is saying it is installing nettools, vim, wget and already tar is there, but it is just upgrading the tar. So it is complete. Now if you see ls, in this folder there is nothing, right? In this opt folder, now we will download tar file of Nexus using wget. Already we downloaded wget. So it got downloaded, and if you see the output of ls, you will see the tar file. Earlier we did not have any file inside this folder. This was an empty opt folder, but now we can see this file. Now let me extract this tar-xzvf and this tar file name. Just press tab, write couple of letters and press tab. So it got downloaded. So if I press ls, now you will see two folders. This got extracted, and you will see two folders, Nexus with the version and this Sona type -work. So for better understanding, what I will do is I will rename this Nexus folder with the version to just Nexus. So I want to make my life simple and easier to understand. So earlier it was with version, right? Now it has changed. So I will remove this tar file because I don't require it anymore. So make sure you are removing the tar file but not the Nexus folder. So you have to be very attentive. So now I see ls, so there is no tar file. If you want to keep the tar file, you can keep, that's not a big problem. Now the Nexus will not run with the root user. Nexus needs a separate user, and it's highly not recommended to run any services with root user. So we always prefer using a different user to run the service. And if you run the service with root user, the Nexus service will not work. So let us create one user called Nexus, because we are using it for the Nexus service, right? We are just giving the same name, or else you can give different name, it's up to you. So we have added this user, and we have to give sudo permissions to this user. So I'll use vsudo. This is sudo file. Hope you have knowledge in Linux. So let's add this user in the sudo file. Yeah, here you can add. So go in insert mode, Nexus, so no pass wd. So this user should be able to run sudo commands without any password. He should be able to run all commands. So make sure you are writing this file properly, and make sure the word all is in caps, and even the no pass wd should be in caps. Let me save it. Once this is done, now let us list the files inside this directory, which is Nexus and Sona type -work. So if you see this, the user is root and the group is root, and same for this folder as well. But these folders should be accessed by the Nexus user. So this Nexus user should have privileges to use these folders. So I will change the ownership and group and the permissions. So this will change permissions recursively, -r, and user is Nexus and the group is Nexus. So I will change for the Sona type -work, and similarly I will change it for Nexus. Now if I do ls-l, now if you see, it changed from root to Nexus. So make sure you follow each and every step. Even if you skip one step, the service will not work. Now we need to tell Nexus that the Nexus service will be started using a different user. So we will go to this file, which is in opt nexus bin nexus.rc. So press tabs, it will auto complete. So if you see here, run as user is empty. So we should tell to Nexus which user is running the service. So first remove this hash and write the username. So we have created a user, right, Nexus. So give the same name and make sure you remove this hash. Sometimes we write the username but we forget to remove the hash, and in that case also your service will not work. So let me save it and come out. Now we need to create Nexus as a service. For that I will use this command. So I am creating a soft link of this file and placing it inside etc init.d. So if I go to etc init.d and do ls-l, so this file is pointing to this file. So if we place the files in this particular directory, the system will recognize. So to make these changes reflect, I will use systemctl daemon -reload. Don't forget this command, because even if you don't run this command your service will not start. So I have restarted the systemd configuration files. Now let me clear the screen. Now I need to switch to Nexus user, because we need to run the service using Nexus user, right? So let us use systemctl start Nexus. So it is asking password for root, but we did not set any password. So come out using Ctrl+C and exit from this user, come back to root and let us set some password. So it is saying bad password because I did not follow password policy, but for this demo it is fine. Now let us again switch back to Nexus user and let us start Nexus service. So I am giving the password of the root. So it is saying authentication complete. So let us see the status. So it is saying active, right? It is using Java 11. Now you can also use ps-aux and see if process is up. So let me grep it. So you should get this big output, then only your service is properly working. Or else you can use netstat-tnlp and see the port 8081 if it is running or not. So earlier it was not showing the port, but right now it is showing. So it will take time, so have some patience. So let us go to our browser and open this Nexus homepage. So let me copy the public IP. In the security group already I have allowed all traffic and from all ports. So 8081 is the port, so it's working perfectly fine. So right top corner you will see sign in button, click on this. So initial password is there in this file, username is admin. Okay, so give admin username, just copy this part which is in bold fonts. Now you need to come back to your Nexus server. Make sure you come back to Nexus server, not to your Docker server. So this black terminal is my Nexus server. Let me clear my screen and let me open this file. So this is initial password. So let me copy this password and let me go back and paste it. So it is asking to sign in. So we have given username, we have given the initial password. So click on next. Now you need to set your own password. So make sure you remember this password, because this is the password which you will use in your Docker server to authenticate. So you will run docker login command, right? At that time you will give username as admin and password, whatever the password now you are setting. So make sure you remember or note it down somewhere. So click on next. So it is asking if everybody can push or pull images like anonymous access. No, I am not interested because this is a private repository, so I will disable this anonymous access. Only authenticated users or privileged users can push or pull images into my repository. So click on next and click on finish button. So here we will have two tabs. One is browse button and the settings button. Settings button will have all the administration related activity, whereas browse button will have whatever the repositories we create. Default, there are some repositories, so we'll not focus more on what is Nexus, because that's altogether a different tool and we are not interested right now. So when we learn Nexus, then we will understand each and every concept in detail. For now, our goal is only to push Docker images and pull Docker images from this repository. So first we have to create a repository, right? I told repository is like a folder. So I will click on repositories, create a repository, and you can store lot of things in this repository, not just Docker images, but you can store apt packages like dpkg extension or npm node.js packages, python packages, R packages, and yum related packages, or Docker images as well. So make sure you select Docker hosted, the second one, not the first one or third one. So let me click on Docker hosted. So you need to give some unique name. So I will give Docker Nehra Classes repo, and please make sure you tick this HTTP and give port as 8085. You can give any port, but in this demo I am showing with 8085. I would highly suggest you to follow the same. Now just create the repository. Now you have created the repository, right? Now Nexus by default will not allow images from Docker. So we need to explicitly tell to Nexus, hey Nexus, please allow Docker images to be pushed and pulled. So for that I will go with some setting. So if you see on the settings tab, on the left side you will see something called realm. So click on this realm and click on this Docker bearer token realm. So click on this plus button. So automatically this will come from left side to right side and it will be inside active box. So click on save button And now as we have done some changes in the UI, we need to restart the server, Nexus server. So I'll go back to my terminal. So this is my terminal, and now I will restart my Nexus. So I'll give the password of root. Yeah, it got restarted. As soon as it got restarted, it has disconnected me from the UI, because when we restart, the server is stopped and it is started again. So let us wait for some time and let us log in back. So let me refresh it. So it is taking some time, or else you can just give it till 8081. So it's taking some time, let's wait. Yeah, it is back. So let me sign in again. So we are back, and we'll go to browse button, and this is our repo. Right now in our repository there is nothing, so no components or assets found in this repository, so which means this repository is empty. So let us go back to our Docker server, and from there we'll run some Docker push commands, and let's see if that Docker image will come into this place. So I think SSH timeout has happened. Let us reconnect. Yes, we are back. Let me switch to root. So now we need to authenticate using docker login command. So docker login, and we'll give the URL. So make sure you give the port as 8085, whatever the port we gave while creating the repository, HTTP connector port. So if you give 8081, it will not work, and you will not be able to authenticate. So username and password. This is the username, right, which we have seen in the Nexus, and password, whatever the password which I set for the first time. So it is saying server gave HTTP response to HTTPS client. So Docker server accepts the request from HTTP clients, but our server doesn't have any TLS SSL certificate. So if you observe our server, it is running on HTTP. So if you see this long log symbol, it is saying connection is not secure, because this is running on HTTP without any SSL TLS certificates. So in real time, in companies, they configure SSL TLS certificates and make servers secured. So in our demo we are not doing that part. So we need to explicitly tell to Docker that please allow even HTTP related registries, insecure registries. So there is a file called daemon.json. Here we need to explicitly mention. So make sure you don't make any spelling mistake. If you make spelling mistake, then your Docker service will not work properly. So let me go into the insert mode. So we are saying please allow insecure registry, this one. So I will remove this. This is a old IP address. So let me copy it from here again. So please remove this http:// and make sure you give the HTTP connector port which I gave while creating the repo, right? So once I'll show you if you have forgotten. So if I go to the settings button and repositories, Docker Nehra Classes repo, see this one, this part. So give the same port, whatever the port you gave here. So let me save it, and this is a configuration change, right? So we need to restart the Docker service. Systemctl restart Docker. If everything is good, then it will not throw any error. So it is working fine. Let us see the status to make sure. So it is active and running, that's good. So let us verify once whether that insecure registry is added or not. So if you run docker info command, on bottom you will see our insecure registry. This is our Nexus registry, right? So we have added in daemon.json file and automatically it has come here. Now we need to log into our server using docker login. So docker login and username and the password. So it is saying let us do this. I think, see, I also forgot, it should be 8085 not 8081. HTTP connector port is 8085. Now let me log in with username and password. So you should get this message, login succeeded. Once you got that message, then you will be able to push images to that registry or pull images from that registry. So let us see what images have there in our Docker server. So there is only one image, you can keep it or you can remove it if you want. So now what I will do is, in the previous classes Sar has explained and built one Docker image and pushed it to Docker Hub. So I will pull that image and that same image we will store it in Nexus. So let us go to Docker Hub and let us search Nehra Classes. See the tags. So there is only one image with the tag latest. Let us pull this. Simply paste that command. So let us see Docker images. So the image, earlier we had only Alpine, now we have even this image. This is a account and this is the image and this is the tag. So in order to push this image to our registry, we need to tag it. So what I'll do is I will explain the format and it will be easier for you. So there are two parts in this command. One is source part, this part, this is source part, and the other one is destination part. So source part is like the image which we want to push. So suppose if I want to push this image, this is my source part, and destination is like where you want to push. So the registry details, and within that registry we have created something called repository, right? And within that repository we can give some repository image name. So our image should have some name, right? You can also give same name if you want, or a different name. And the tag, so usually we give same image name and tag, but to avoid confusion in this demo I will give a different image name and different tag name in this registry. Okay, so let us tag it. Docker tag, just copy paste this. This is the source part, whatever the image which you want to push, and registry. So our registry is this one, right? So just copy this part till 8085. Already we authenticated, so we will not face any issue. And within that we have created one repo called Docker Nehra Classes repo, and we can give tag as v1. So first time we are pushing, so I am giving tag as v1. So let us see our repository once. So if you go to browse button, here browse, see this one is one browse and the second one is here. So if you see the repository name, this is the repository docker -nehra classes repo. So right now we don't have anything. So let us see if the image stores in this place. So first we need to tag, so we are tagging it. Now if you run docker images, so we will see one more image with tag v1 and repository as this one. So the same image, it is getting referenced. Now we need to push. So pushing is very simple. All you need to do is just go back to the tag command, remove this source part, and use docker push. I have removed the source part and I have added the word push and removed the tag word. So let us push it. Let's see if it is getting success or fail. That's awesome, it's getting pushed. So let us go back and see in our Nexus repository. So let me refresh. So earlier it was empty, right? So now we have this folder structure, and if you open this, we push the tag v1 image, so our Docker image has come over here. Okay, so similarly we can push v2, similarly we can push n number of images with different tags. So for suppose I have a different image, I can push that. Right now I'll be using the same image, this one, and give it a v2 tag and then push it. In real time we will have different images with different tags, and we push those images by tagging. Right now I don't have any newer version of that particular image, so I am just using the same image and giving a different tag. So let me go back and give v2 tag. Think like this is the second version of that particular image. Now I'll push it. So I am removing everything, and I have added the word push. So already it got pushed, so let us go back. Earlier if you see, there is only v1. If I refresh, and now if I check the tags, there are two versions, v1 and v2. This is one version of the Docker image, this is the second version of Docker image. So if you see this is uploaded just now, whereas v1 is uploaded few minutes back, and it is uploaded by admin because he is the guy who has uploaded, right? We have logged in using this user, right, in the Docker machine, so it is saying uploader is admin, and this is the IP address of that particular machine. So you have all the details. Now what we will do is, we have seen how to push the image, right? Now we will remove all these images and we will try to pull from that repository. So let me run docker images command. So you can just say docker rm -f. So this is an image, so you can add I, and you can just write this 91. So all this will get deleted. So everything got deleted. There is only one image, which is Alpine image. If you want to remove that, you can remove it. And now we don't have any image. What we'll do is, we'll try to pull the image from that particular registry. Docker pull, or else there is also a command written here. So just copy this, and you need to add even the registry details. So let's do this again, or else there is already push command, right? We can use this. So we are trying to pull the image from this registry, and within that registry there is a repository, this repository, and we are pulling the image with the tag v2. I think we need to even add the image name, so let us add the image name. Image name so we haven't given any image name, I guess. So let us pull it colon v2. So it's getting pulled, and now let us run docker images. So you can see that the image got pulled. Now we can launch the container using docker run command, docker run -d in detached mode, and we know that that image has HTTP service running on port 80, and we'll give some name, and let's copy this. So this is the image. So it is saying it is unable to find because there is no such thing with the tag latest. So the tag is v2, right? So we need to explicitly mention tag v2. Then the container got launched. Let's see docker ps. Docker ps is working perfectly fine. And now let us see, this container is running on port 80. So let us go and check. So let me go to docker server. Already we did port mapping, so paste and go, and you can see the output. So in this demo what we did is we have pushed the image to the Nexus repository, and at the same time we have pulled from Nexus repository and launched a container. So hopefully you will do this demo. If you have any questions or queries, please post it in our Telegram group, and if you want more such videos, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have a nice day and happy learning. Thank you.